They had a best adapted screenplay nomination for Borat 2. That's what you do when you can't think of anything else to nominate. Is nominate an ad-libbed movie, like a movie where like you don't really have a script.
It got nominated for adapted screenplay, right? Adapted from what?
Right.
Adapted from what? Because it's a sequel. It would be adapted from the first movie. I don't think any sequel can get original screenplay. I mean, technically, every screenplay is adapted. If we want to go like far into it, you know, like you can't. Technically, there is no such thing as original screenplay.
Yes.
Nominations. For
Oh yeah,
Trump.
technically, nothing's original for original screen. Like every original screenplay is adapted from real life. You have to have an understanding of the English language. That's something that was already written that exists, right? Languages already exists. Characters, people in real life already exist, right? So to say like a sequel is not an original screenplay anymore, it's like, oh, okay. It's just as original as the first movie.
This one.
Well, I don't know. I feel like screenplay is always going to go, like from this point on, it's always going to go to like something like kind of political if it's there, you know? Adapted went to The Father. But best original, like one of them is always going to go to something like, this is about an important issue right now.
The same logic the Razzies used when they nominated Trump and Giuliani as worst actors.
The Razzies doesn't even pretend to be like honestly grading like the year's worst movie or worst performance, you know? Like you can't honestly believe that they think that they're just like, here's who we don't like this year. Like that's basically the whole thing. Is like, I don't like you, I don't like you, and that's how they choose everything.
Agreement on some than others, maybe.
Usually the best screenplay movies win.
Rudy Giuliani.
Like the ones that win, I think the 1 year.
I think the Oscars are slightly less dumb than the Razzies. I think the Razzies are worse than the Oscars. The Oscars gets it right every once in a while. The Razzies has never gotten anything right ever. The Razzies don't go out of their way to watch the year's worst movies. They just pick popular bad movies.
Oh yeah.
There's been points where the best picture has gone to the best movie of the year, in my opinion. Birdman. That's a recent one. Or one of the best. I don't think there's been a single year where the worst picture Razzie was actually the worst movie of the year. They wouldn't have the balls to nominate The Lion King 2019 for anything. They're not going out of their way to watch the year's worst movies, though. Jack and Jill is the most. It might be the worst popular bad movie of the year. Gigli also might be the worst popular bad movie of the year. But there's things that exist that aren't popular that are much worse. The bar for how bad a movie can be goes much lower than Jack and Jill.
What did you call the...
They nominated Stanley Kubrick worst director for The Shining. Oh yeah, of course they did. The Razzies are like as bad as Cinema Score. They're just people who say, I don't like that, and don't actually like care about anything. Cinema Score's fucking worst.
What did you call the movie?
You know, if there's one thing that I think I'm pretty good at, is like there's a lot of like controversial films that wind up being like cult classics and are appreciated over time more and more. And like as years go by, give it like 10, 20 years, they start being recognized as like masterpieces, even though people didn't consider them as such when they were out. I don't think I'm on the wrong side of any of those so far. Synecdoche, New York is a big one. Synecdoche, New York, like if it was re-released today and all of the Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes scores like got replaced with ones just from today, I think it would have a significantly better critical review, maybe even better audience review. Whereas like, I don't know, the Razzies is always going to be on the wrong side of history with that.
That's funny.
How could they nominate Shelley Duvall for worst actress? That's embarrassing. That's like that. They did Jennifer Lawrence and fucking Mother too, right? So whatever. They're just cinema score.
Dingle.
There wasn't a film that made me mad at an Oscar win, but there was a person named Eddie Redmayne who stole the Oscar. Stole the Oscar from Birdman, Michael
Acting
Keaton.
plots that make no sense.
How did he steal it? He didn't deserve it.
Okay, ideas in it. He's got.
Yeah, the Oscars overvalue acting as a historical character and they like confuse casting with acting. Like Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking, that's better casting than it is performance, right? I think Michael Keaton's performance is better. A lot of the times they're like, oh, this person looked like the person they're supposed to, and that's how they decide it.
That I'm missing you.
Why the fuck would it win Best Actress for Blair Witch Project? What's their fucking problem? The performances were so good that people thought the movie was real. Like, what kind of fucking nonsense is that? That's the worst. That's a terrible take.
Hey guys, it's May 2021, so it's time to update my lists of patrons for this month. The ones that pay $5 and up are Wholesome 100 Big Chungus Lemonade Warrior, TheMessers.com, Amy Wrestler, Unlucky T, Cal Hunt, Wales, Simon Meadow Valley, Bo the Doggo, Boards of Cinema, Purple Fire, Kite Butcher, Pit Inhabitant, Gabriel Herrera, Kirbymon, Splat, Lord Durham, Hoofy Doe, Olivia Spores, Ocean Machinery, Malav Shah, and Ali Matamid. Stay safe.